Hello, I'm coming out with you with a little tutorial today, just a small one. I'm going to show you how I created this high-res detailed mesh in actually probably just 5 minutes. Now it's not exactly perfect and all where the quads are and stuff, and I probably just messed up some of my smoothing. Yeah. Basically, I've got this background I'm working on for a film I'm making. And the main problem is okay, how can I get the landscape to be super detailed when this is my actual distance 3D coat with the ground plane. And you'll see that when I get back to here, there's thousands of triangles. Millions, right? How am I even going to begin to retopologize this in any time? And then get this, which is just a ground plane, which looks... Let's grab that ground plane. By and large, very similar to that actual high-res mesh. A lot of what I'm using this for is just for this main shot, so I'm not worrying too much about my resolution, right? So, because I'm not worrying too much about the resolution, I'm going to just cheat it and say, okay, this is our resolution, right? And I might add a little bit more to this to kind of get that to soften up around here as I'm going, but this is just a good spot for me to have it at right now. So I'll show you how I did it. And my settings may not be perfect the first time I do this, but hide that. Just gonna have a look at it for reference. Unhide this, our high-res mesh. Get that back out. And this is just a nice little tutorial because I was originally going to retopologize this and then take my whole day. It's currently 1 o'clock right now, but I'm like, no, I'm going to... You always want to work harder and smarter with 3D. Is usually the thing. So what you can do is you can just literally take a simple ground plane. This is how... I wouldn't say this is the for sure right way to do it production, but when I'm making a big piece of a prop like this for a film, this is the way I'm gonna do it in my process, because it's the best way to handle something like this. So taking hours upon hours to retopologize anything this dense. So you basically want this grid to really affirm to how long this is, because you're trying to get it to... We're going to use a shrink wrap deformer just to cheat this, basically. And you want to try and get it to be as close as possible to around the proximity of the mesh. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you want to usually even out some areas that might have too wide gaps. And then just hit smooth a few times. Whatever works for you in your case. And then I'm going to select this. Select the high-res ground bling with all over bazillion triangles. And then I'm going to go to the form. I'll go to shrink wrap. For this option box, I want vertex normals. And now that it's not perfect, I can guarantee you that, because what you want for yours probably, and this is what it just doesn't work perfectly, is you want to grab the vertices on the side. That's what I was saying, because you want to have it pretty much perfectly melded to the box. Sorry, not that one. To the high-res box. And it just won't solve because it may not be perfectly on scale to one side or this side. And then it just these don't know where, these verts here have nowhere to go. Right? So for me, what I did was my actual example, the one I just did, is I just brought down those vertices, then extruded from the cutout of the bottom, and then just built the lay of the land. And then I dug out a bit more of the actual land, so we get kind of this is supposed to be the bayou, so it's okay, here's a little portions of land, here's where the water goes, and how it flows into the castle here. Now, this may not be the best way of doing this in someone's point of view. Everybody will have their own opinions, but I think it's definitely a good way of getting some quick results to generate a high poly mesh for an environment where you'd have to go in and manually quad draw each one of these. No. Goodbye to a whole day, right? So it may seem like a quick workaround, but it's in its low poly form quite charming in ways, right? So, and even I'm gonna have to say I'll put one more edge down this way so that our mesh starts to become a little bit less kind of weird looking from that angle I was seeing. It's still a little bit bumpy and kind of low res, but with a good paint job we can probably get away from this because we're really only looking at, we're looking at the castle here. Mostly this is going to be our framing. So that's just a quick little tutorial to kind of show you how to do that. Hope you enjoyed.